Our next speaker is Jacek Brozek, who is a Ruby developer in a company called Wood, where they develop application for saving your, they issue a credit card for you, which limits your purchases to have savings of your costs. It's very interesting. So he will talk about DevOps, about software development, lessons learned, and things like that.
Hello, everyone. And today we've heard a lot of things about new technologies and all this IoT stuff. But today it's really important to not forget about one of the most important things in IT industry, and it's communication. And today I would like to speak about this specific kind of communication because there are many stereotypes that there's a war between developers and IT operations. So today I would like to concentrate especially on the special case where when your DevOps have the development and developers experience. My name is Jacek Brozek. You can find me here on Twitter or GitHub. And I am software architect in Lloyds Bank from London, UK. And basically we're building the banking service. And as I'm quite young, it's only my birth, and you might wonder why am I here and why am I speaking about Agile and DevOps. So maybe let's start with Agile. Why Agile? So we've built the banking service, working banking service for students in 99 days. So yeah, that's pretty amazing. So try to be more agile. But actually we went from Kanban waterfall to Scrum. So I think it doesn't apply. And why DevOps? Because we have the complex architecture with many trendy services, web services, queues, and all this stuff running in background. And of course, for security reasons. But again, we had known for the most of the project lifetime. And we have one now, so if there are users, so your money is secure. And yeah, as I mentioned, there's a thing between developers and IT operations. I'm using DevOps because it's shorter to write and it looks better. And there are many facts, myths, and stories. And today I would like to concentrate more on stories based on my experience working on different stages of my career with IT operations. And many people think that development and IT operations doesn't go well together. And I say that they are not the same thing. It's really hard to find this border, this bound between developer and IT operations, and it altogether creates the DevOps position. And yeah, in terms of communication, it's quite popular in internet. There's a thing like silos, and there's one for developers, the other one for DevOps. And people think that we hate each other, and we just do not talk maybe through tickets in any IT management programs. And I would like to start with two environments that I was working in my entire career. And the first one that some of you may know is the product-centric environment. And this one is really hard place to work in. And this is very toxic. Toxic for, not for the product because it's very efficient, but it's not good for the team and team member sanity. And there are many stories that you've heard that developers say to the client that it works on my machine. And yeah, that's true. I used to say that. And there's different thing when there are two teams. The one is IT operations, and the other one is development team. And developer is done with his work and he says, hey, it works on my machine. He invites product owner for the screen sharing session, and for the same session he invites the DevOps, and he's showing that, hey, it works for me, but on production environment it doesn't work. And that's because we care only about product that need to be delivered, and we forget about the feelings of other team members. And imagine that you are DevOps and you are with really important guy like CEO or product owner, and you hear something like this. And for the guy that usually doesn't have the technical knowledge, it's pretty clear that it's your fault. So that's not bad. And sorry for his server is broken after the previous talk. I was a bit stressed. I know many girl DevOps, and I used to his because they were too good, so we couldn't afford them. And another thing is we are delivering things, and we need it now. That need to be done, and someone is waiting. VC is waiting, your boss is waiting, someone in the space is waiting for that to be done, maybe clients, but I think it's the less important part. Yeah, and we are asking our DevOps why it's not yet done. And I'm ready with my code. It's ready to be deployed, but I don't have any place to deploy that. And yeah, that's more from programmer, from developer perspective, since usually there's one DevOps, at least in most of my projects. There were only one DevOps, and the development team, not single developer development team, usually was ahead. And that was not good, again, for the guy that has the stuff to do, other machines, other servers, maybe some security stuff. And we are trying to put more things on the stack, and of course we want them to be now and to have them on top. And there's another one environment, and this one is quite tricky, since building the team is not easy. I used to take part in hiring process, so I had a chance to pick right people for the right job. I hope that worked. At least it worked for me. And people-centric environment is not the same as product-centric. The other one, it works out of the box. You build a team, and it's natural that there are teams that we need to go faster, that we need to deliver a product, and you don't need to do anything to make it happen. About this one, it's really important to maintain the communication and to care about the people, about their needs. And now, people are the core, not the product that we need to deliver, and not VCs, bosses, product owners or managers. Of course, we have stuff to do, and we need to do it on time, but when everyone's happy, then product is going well, product development. And there's a thing about product ownership, and in terms of this difference between development and IT operations, it's really hard to distinguish the ownership of the product. And usually especially during the code review, we can find the sentence, there's a bug in your code. And the problem is it's not your code, it's not my code, it's our product, our code. And that's something we need to keep in mind, talking to the DevOps guys. And in this case, it's really important to not have the ownership, but responsibilities that we need to take care of. And this one is tricky again, fit the role, because I have the experience with building teams, with hiring, picking right candidates that apply for the position. And I used to work in this methodology that everyone need to fit the role. And what if the product is evolving, and we have new functionalities, new stuff is coming on, and suddenly the IT operations guys say, hey, I have the programming experience, and I would like to write some code. You will tell him, no, you cannot do it. This is your role. You need to do it. and we need you as IT operations guy. No, it doesn't work this way. We need to listen carefully to our team, both sides, this DevOps and development, because someone wants to just change something, try something new, and we simply cannot block anyone from doing new stuff. And there's something I've called for this talk team leader's life cycle. That's anything new, and I don't have any rights for this name. So if you want, you can use it. And basically, usually I start with small projects. Right now, I work for startups, so it's a bit different. But in my previous career, I was starting the product, and we have plenty of tools for continuous integration, for delivery, for deploying, and they work out of the box, and that's not hard to give anyone the access to the root access to the server, because why not? And that's good for the MVPs, for products that doesn't bring any value, at least yet. But later, I went from being a developer, software architect, we can call whatever we want, to being a guy doing the DevOps stuff. I'm not really good DevOps, and in terms of communication right now, I can see that I was awful, and that's why I'm presenting this topic today. And when you do two things in the line and you cannot concentrate on any specific task, it's really important to just coordinate with other guys, communicate, collaborate on some things, because when you're trying to do everything on your own, being there, you won't do any of those things good. They will be crappy, and at some point, they will just fail. And this one is a perfect situation. I wish I would have possibility to work in every project, starting with standalone DevOps, with DevOps team that I can work with on different tasks. But yeah, this one comes with time, and usually we don't have the opportunity to start with that. And that's what I've noticed, especially being the guy doing the DevOps stuff in the line with development, is that I already mentioned that I was the awful DevOps in terms of communication, because I have quite strong opinions about software architecture, about programming, all these rules and patterns that we need to follow. And I know that discussions are hard, but I was trying to avoid them. And it was like, okay, I know better. I've done it, and why do you want to do it this way, or even the corpus style? I've done that once, and I truly regret that. I've got the idea, and I was like, oh, that's pretty nice. Let's do it my way. Yeah, and discussions are hard. Do not try to avoid them, and be calm and be nice to the other members that's trying to bring new ideas, because maybe their ideas are better than yours. And another thing, I've done this before, as I have like over 20 applications working on successful application working on production environment. So I can say that I've done this before. All these queues, all this background processing stuff. There's nothing new, and why are we going to do this other way if I know better? And yeah, the thing that something worked before doesn't mean that there's nothing new, nothing better. We can see even during this conference that there are many new things, many new technologies that came out really, really quickly in really short time. So again, it's really good to listen to your team. And one of the worst thing that we can do is just giving the orders, because we are the team. We are not the team owners, even if we are called team leaders. There's not such thing like order. And when we talk about DevOps and development team, sometimes it's like, okay, I'm tired and I have stuff to do in my in my development. So I will give you requirements and just let me know once it's done. And probably then I will tell you that it's wrong and I was expecting something completely different. And that happens. I understand that everyone has a lot of work, but closing this road to communications by saying, let me know once it's done, that's the worst thing. What's the problem to spend 5 or 10 minutes a day explaining the DevOps team why we should choose this technology or why we should do it this way? It's not really big effort, and I'm sure that we all can find some time to do that. And it's not your business. It's again about being involved in the whole process. And this one I've noticed when I switched from being a developer doing DevOps stuff just to be software architect when I was full-time taking care of the code that we were delivering. And when I was DevOps, I was like, okay, I'm doing servers, doing security stuff. So just do your job. It's not your thing. It's not your business. And again, about this ownership, it's not yours. You can have tasks, you can have responsibilities that you need to take care of, but the whole product is ours. And yeah, the one that I was really proud of when I was the DevOps guy, and the thing that was really annoying when we just flipped the tables, and it was about finding a bottleneck. So when I was at DevOps, I found the place in the application that could work better, and it was with I/O operations, which is quite common. And I went to the software team and told them, hey, I found this and this, and it won't work in the future. And I was like, I'm not saying that because I found it. I'm saying that because you need to fix it. And that was really bad, and I think I'll have really, really bad experience on them. And yes, suddenly I became software architect, and our DevOps came to me, hey man, you have the problems with your DB, too many connections, too many I/O operations, and you need to fix that. And in that moment, I knew how the guys from the software team really felt, and it wasn't nice. And the one thing that we need to remember, probably I'm repeating myself about this one, but it's all about communication, and it's about being the team. And last weekend, I took part in pre-marriage classes, and I found out that every problem in marriage comes from lack of communication. And that was something that they were repeating constantly during those 3 days. And I realized, hey, that's pretty much the same with work in IT. We are not two separate cells. We are single body, single organism. And we need to work together, we need to communicate, and more important part, we need to collaborate. So don't communicate your needs, but collaborate on stuff that you need to do. I think we have some time for questions. Okay, so I'll be around, so if anything comes up, you can find me somewhere outside. And thank you very much.